Williamson, and Lambeau Field is the setting as two of the NFC's top performers in action today. Rookie running back sensation Adrian Peterson and the ageless quarterback Brett Favre. They highlight today's NFC North matchup, Minnesota Vikings against the Green Bay Packers. And welcome everyone to Green Bay. Dick Stockton along with Brian Baldinger, and it should be a treat to watch these marquee players today. The Packers beat the Vikings in Week 4, 23-16, but they're a change in quarterback. They have not seen Brooks Bollinger, who will make the start at quarterback today. Came off the bench last week in the win over San Diego, makes his first start in a Minnesota uniform this afternoon. And Brian, what else is different in this rematch?
Well, what's different is the role of Adrian Peterson. In the first game, he carried the ball 12 times against the Packers. Last week, he carried it 30 times. He's now All-Day Peterson, the nickname that has been given to him. A.D. Peterson right now has this team and this whole league in a ruffle because nobody has taken the league running the football the way this guy has in the first half of the season, quite like we've seen from Adrian Peterson. So they rest on the legs of Adrian. And for the Green Bay Packers, things really haven't changed much. Their hopes, their dreams rest on the golden arm of Brett Favre, who's been simply sensational in the first half of the season. This team leads the league in yards after the catch, a lot of big explosive plays. And today's matchup features polar opposites. The Vikings prefer to do it on the ground. The Packers like to do it in the air. We'll find out which method is the best here this afternoon.
All right, Brian, and right now let's take a look at the UPS team leaders in rushing and receivers. We know about Adrian Peterson. Bobby Wade is the leading receiver for the Vikings. Ryan Grant now the top running back for the Packers. And Donald Driver always the favorite receiver of Brett Favre. UPS, what can Brown do for you? So coming up, long-time division rivals, it's the Vikings and the Packers.
Welcomes you to the following presentation of the National Football League.
Lambeau Field, and overcast early. There was a threat of maybe some rain and possibly snow in the area, but the sun has broken through. Temperature 49 degrees, expected to get into the mid-50s today. Not much of a wind, and beautiful conditions as the Adrian Peterson show continues, coming off a brilliant game last week when he broke the NFL rushing record with 296 yards, and the Vikings will get the ball first. Mason Crosby, the rookie kicker, will be kicking off to Troy Williamson, who is the object of a major story out of Minnesota, which we'll tell you more about as the game goes on. So Williamson did not play last week, attending the funeral of his maternal grandmother, back deep, and fields this line drive kick at the 5. And Williamson gets up to the 29-yard line where Trevon Williams makes the tackle. So Brooks Bollinger making his 10th NFL start, the first 9 with the New York Jets, where he won only 2 games, but has looked pretty good when coming in relief in the 2 previous games, and exactly what Brad Childress wants from his quarterback.
Yeah, and that is to play mistake-free football, which he's played in a relief role this year through his first touchdown pass for the Vikings last week in that win against San Diego.
First down at the 29, and the former Packer Robert Ferguson is in the game at wide receiver, and Adrian Peterson, to no one's surprise, the first carry of the game. Cullen Jenkins makes the tackle after a gain of 5.
And in the spotlight for the Vikings today is Adrian Peterson. Adrian Peterson. I mean, he is the story, but there is a couple other guys today. I think the former Packers will play a role today. Ryan Longwell, the field goal kicker. These games seem to be decided by a field goal a lot of times. And Darren Sharper, the free safety of the Packers, of the Vikings, longtime Packer free safety, would like nothing better than to pick Brett Favre today.
Is that like location?
Something like that.
Second down and 5. Bollinger nowhere to go, will be short of the first down. And coming in is Nick Barnett to make sure he doesn't get to the first down yardage, picking up 4. It'll be 3rd down and 1. Big year so far for Barnett.
Brooks Bollinger, a lot of people know him here in Green Bay. He was a star quarterback just down the road in Madison at the University of Wisconsin. As a redshirt freshman, took that program to the Rose Bowl and won the Rose Bowl against Stanford. And started a lot of games there, well known here in the state of Wisconsin.
Grant Childress helped to recruit him. So on 3rd and 1, Peterson knocked up for a loss. And the crowd is really hopping now. Brady Papinga, the strong side linebacker, with a big stop.
Well, Brady Papinga is going to come downhill. Does a great job of coming off and then staying up high on Adrian Peterson, hitting him right in the chest. There, Adrian thinks he might have the backside cutoff, and they took it away from him. Big B and Papinga on the tackle.
So on 4th down, Chris Kluwe will be kicking, and Charles Woodson back deep for the Packers. Good kick by Kluwe, and Woodson at the 6. And gets tripped up. Changes direction. And after all that, does a good job of getting out to about the 18-yard line. And Brett Favre coming out, and it was against the Vikings when Favre, who was making his 246 consecutive start, set the NFL record with his 421st touchdown of his career. That was in week 4.
Brett got ready for this game on Friday by going hunting, sitting up in a tree, waiting for some deer to come on by, had his bow and arrow, said there's only about a good week and a half when the deer are there at this time of the year.
Starting from the 18. And out of the shotgun. And a fake inside handoff, and the pass is caught by Donald Lee, the tight end, who got a contract extension this week. He gets 7 yards with Marcus McCauley on the play.
And in the spotlight for the Packers are their 2 guards. Left guard Darren College, the right guard Jason Spitz, who have struggled in recent weeks going up against monsters inside of the Vikings. And then the 2 safeties for the Packers, Atari Bigby and Aaron Rouse, making his first NFL start, the rookie. They're the last line of defense against Adrian Peterson today.
Aaron Rouse starting for Nick Collins, but the Packers with 2nd down and 3. And again, far going to the air. On target to James Jones. Jones was free, and it would have been a 1st down. And that will bring up 3rd and 3.
Well, no surprise that Green Bay comes out throwing the football. That's what's got them to 7-1. But then the other side is the Vikings are best at stopping the run. They're very good up front. The linebackers, along with Pat Williams and Kevin Williams inside, those guys are stout. And so it's not surprising Green Bay comes out throwing, trying to loosen things up a little bit.
Goran Robinson, the former Viking, number 81, is in at wide receiver now, and Vernon Morency is in as the 3rd down back. Again out of the shotgun. Just got the play off in time. The shuffle pass to Morency and gets the 1st down up to the 30-yard line. And Chad Greenway makes the stop, 6 yards, and the Packers move the chains.
Well, here's Morency here. I mean, these guys are going to drop here, but nice job right here of just a little old shovel pass, and Brett does it with a little bit of flair, too, just giving it the underhand flick. You know, look at his eyes. His eyes are downfield. You get everybody thinking pass and then kind of sucker punching it.
When you say flair, that's what Brett Favre is all about, and he's had it throughout his career. And he's been rejuvenated, no question, with the 7-1 Packers. Winning a lot more than anyone expected. 1st down at the 31. Tight formation, and Favre gets a pass rush, but dumps it off to Ryan Grant. And the running back, who's moved into the starting role, gets it out to the 36, picking up 5 yards. Kevin Williams, the defensive tackle, making the play.
Well, we asked Brett Favre on Friday about the 7-1 start, and he said, you know, I'm kind of scratching my head a little bit. I'm not really sure how we've gotten away. He thought they would be good this year. They won their last 4 games to end the season last year. But he said he's got some perspective on it, Dick, that, you know, in '99, they got off to a 3-1 start, and everybody had them in the playoffs, and they finished the season 8-8.
Well, he said, really, this was the best talented team he'd ever played with, which really raised a lot of eyebrows, but they're not now. But they won the close ones, and they found a way to win. 2nd and 5, and here is Ryan Grant going off the weak side, and a Good game by Grant, who picked up 55 yards last week in the win over Kansas City. He gets 12 yards, first down. But New Orleans is coming on. And moving in the line, and a flag is down. Gerald Austin is the referee this afternoon.
Encroachment, number 94, defense. 5 yards, first down.
Pat Williams anxious to get in, and the 5-yard penalty. So Brad Childress, after his team went 3 and out, seeing the Packers move the ball into Viking territory.
Writing an awful long time there. Writing a little essay there after Pat Williams jumped offside.
And of course, on the other side, Mike McCarthy. And really doing a terrific job in the second year in Green Bay. 1st and 5 following the penalty. And there is Grant. And Grant's been the object of this offense on this first series. 7-yard gain, another first down. Greenway on the tackle to the 41 of Minnesota.
Well, there's going to be a good fake here to get outside. And this is what they want to do with Brett. They want to move him a little bit more. I mean, even with those 38-year-old legs, he still can run. And it gets him out of that pocket where the defense has to concentrate him on him in a different way. And so that's something they're trying to do more.
6 minutes have gone by, and they flip going again to Grant. And Grant finding running room. Well, this is a team that has run effectively so far. And this is a great defensive team against the run. The Minnesota Vikings coming in 2nd in the NFL, giving up only 70 yards a game.
Well, I think they're great, Dick, at the inside runs. You know, where Pat Williams and Kevin Williams and E.J. Henderson are. But I think there's yards to be gained right where they're getting them on this drive, in the alleys, outside of the tackles, sort of at those defensive ends.
2nd down and 3. On the Viking 34. Play action. Deep and overthrowing Donald Driver.
Brett has not missed much or very often at all this year on the deep throw. He's throwing it as well as he ever has. He's taking a look at it on the video screen right now, knowing that he had Driver exactly where he wanted him. Went after Cedric Griffin there, had a step on him, no safety help. That was a shot that he'd like to have back.
And of course, because they've been able to run successfully, really set up that play action. This is the 9th play of this drive, 3rd down and 3. And a 3-man defensive front for the Vikings. A lot of coverage, and the pass knocked away from the tight end. And Ben Lieber makes the play on Donald Lee, and that will bring up 4th down.
You know, they're right in that part of the field where it's a little long for a field goal, but they're too far advanced to punt it.
They're going to go for it.
So I think it's a good call. It's a good call on 4th down, right in no man's land for Mason Crosby, the field goal kicker.
So it'll be 4th down and 3 at the 34-yard line. And the Packers bring in, they have really 5 wide receivers and an empty backfield. They use this formation to great success, and the Vikings call a timeout. Interesting that the Packers use the shotgun about 40 times the first time they played with some success, but Minnesota timeout.
His Game on Fox is sponsored by Southwest Airlines. With Southwest Airlines' convenient nonstop flights, it's like having your own company plane.
And back in Green Bay, and Brian, any idea why the Vikings would call a timeout in that instance?
Well, I think that they really wanted to. That's Leslie Frazier, the defensive coordinator. The Packers came out with 5 wide receivers. I think they wanted to make sure they had the right personnel to match up with them on a key play.
So again, the 4th down play. Jennings was going in motion. He's in the slot to the right. Number 85. Again, a 3-man rush against Favre. And his pass is caught. And the Vikings claiming he didn't get over the line, but he wasn't down. It will be a first down for the Packers. Corey Robinson, who returned after a 1-year suspension last week against Kansas City, got over the line, and a first down for the Packers to the 30.
Really heads-up play by Corey Robinson to know that he wasn't down and to be able to kind of just inch his way forward with the football over the line for the first down.
control here by the Packers. First down on the 30. Now a four-man rush coming up for Minnesota. And Brett Favre looking to couple of ways. Hold on to the bullet throw is Greg Jennings. And had he held on, he would have been in the end zone and appears to be shaken up a bit.
But take a look, going back up. Take a look here at the former play to Corin Robinson, who's here. You can see he catches this ball, and he was never down. He was never touched by Tank Williams there, and had the presence of mind to reach that ball to the 30-yard line for the first.
So now the 12th play of the drive. On 2nd and 10, the pitches to Ryan Grant. Grant going ahead as a first down. Maybe more. Touchdown, Packers. Grant. 30 yards for the touchdown.
Packers have been looking for a running back all year, and I think they found one here in Ryan Grant. Going to come out here into the alley where I said there were some yards. Good job of the line. Scott Wells coming around the corner. Fullback doing a good job kicking out. And Ryan Grant has been a savior with the injuries at that position, has solidified.
Mason Crosby adds the extra point, and the Packers lead 7-0. Grant wanted to hold on to the ball, and why not? His first NFL touchdown, giving Green Bay the lead. And what a start in this game as the Packers going 82 yards on 12 plays on the opening drive, and the longest run of Ryan Grant's career. Remember, Deshaun Wynn was the starter, hurt his shoulder on October 30th, and Grant was acquired by trade from the New York Giants September 1st. Gives the Packers the lead as Mason Crosby kicks off. And this kick heading out of bounds, so a break for the Vikings as they'll start on the 40-yard line. And we're going to take a break right now.
With out of bounds. Ball replaced at the 40.
7:18 to go in the first.
Fox is sponsored by Best Buy. This holiday with a gift from Best Buy, the Wow's Guarantee. By Nissan, who invites you to shift the way you move through the world. And by Visa. Visa makes it easier to get ready for game day. Life takes Visa.
So Ryan Grant giving the Packers the early lead, and now the Vikings will start from the 40-yard line as Crosby's kickoff went out of bounds. So we'll see what Brooks Bollinger does. He was 1 for 4 on the first series. There you see the two wide receivers to the left. Bollinger, though, looking the other way. And the pass caught by Adrian Peterson. Hasn't been used much as a receiver. And picks up 2 yards with Atari Bigby making the tackle. And we were telling you about Troy Williamson, and a big story this week nationally concerning the fact that the Vikings had Doc Kim pay for missing last week's game. His maternal grandmother had passed away and was gone for 9 days. Hand off to Adrian Peterson with a big gain, and Peterson gets it into Packer territory at the 45-yard line, and there was a great furor amongst the Minnesota Vikings who were very upset that he was docked to pay. Now, he did not contact the Minnesota Vikings at all when he was gone as to whether he would return or not. And finally, after a meeting with a group of veterans that Brad Childress meets with every Friday, they decided to rescind that docking of the pay. And he said, let's get it right if it's not necessarily the right thing. A lot of stories about this. Peterson thrown back, no gain on the play, and it was Johnny Jolly, the defensive tackle, in on the stop.
But, Dick, you know, it's a sensitivity issue within the team. I didn't think it needed to come to a meeting with their executive level of guys, 7 players that meet with Brad in order to get it right. Troy Williamson does have culpability not contacting the team for 10 days, but everybody grieves differently when they lose somebody as close as he lost his maternal grandmother.
But it was a bad PR decision no matter what, and they fixed it up. Peterson picking up 3 yards, stopped by A.J. Hawk, and right now for a game break, let's return to Kurt Menefee in Los Angeles.
Well, as Baldy can tell you, Dick, Donovan McNabb's been fighting some negative PR this week. This might turn the tide a little bit. Quick shovel pass to Brian Westbrook, and they've got a 7-0 lead on the Red scale. Back to Dick and Baldy.
You're right, Kurt. A lot of people down on Donovan in the city of brotherly love, but nothing like winning to get rid of that type of negativity in Philadelphia.
3rd down and 6, and Chester Taylor, who had been the main starter before Adrian Peterson, has come in the game, and Bollinger's pass incomplete, closest to it. Well, they had Andre Allison as well as Visante Shanko, so no real receiver in the neighborhood, and 4th down again. So the Vikings and Brad Childress' team get into Packer territory, but have to kick it away.
Well, that looked like just a bad timing issue with Brooks Bollinger, who said that the difference between starting and coming off the bench is, you know, you're going to start the first play, you get more reps in practice, but that play looked like it needed more repping in practice.
Chris Kluwe is one of the best in the league at kicking inside the 20-yard line. And this one will go into the end zone, touchback. And the Packers, who have a 7-0 lead, will start at the 20 when we return to seasonal Green Bay in a moment. Welcome to Lambeau Field, and in the gold ticket plan that they have for the Packers, that the fans in the Milwaukee area are allowed to purchase home games 2 and 5 of the season. This is the 5th home game, and so most of the fans here are from the Milwaukee area, not Green Bay, unless they find a way of getting the tickets that can be done. 1st down at the 20, and here is Ryan Grant. And Grant brings it out for a couple of yards. 3-yard pickup coming up. The NFL on Fox, and a huge game coming up in the second half of our doubleheader. The Cowboys and the Giants lead the parade.
No question, it's a big game because the Cowboys beat the Giants the opening week of the season. If they should win this game, they'd be 2 up in the loss column, but because they'd have the tiebreaker, in effect, they'd be up 3 games on the Giants.
And if it's anything like that opening game, a wild shootout.
80 points.
Yep, they're in for a huge game. 2nd down and 7. Hand off again to Grant. Up the middle. What a job he's doing against this great run defensive team. And this time, Brian, they did go up the middle, got about 12 yards.
Well, they did it with a little draw fake. Watch Brett Favre's play-action fake right here, getting the guys to go upfield, and then they come in behind him. Did a good job of blocking Spencer Johnson, 97 for the Vikings inside, doubled him. Good lead block right there by Corey Hall. This is the youngest running back position in the league. First-year running back in Ryan Grant, rookie fullbacks, very young and experienced.
Grant already has 75 total yards, and we still have 3.5 minutes to go in the first.
I thought Adrian Peterson was supposed to have 75 yards to start.
And here is Favre, and his pass nearly intercepted and intended for Corin Robinson and Dwight Smith. A little too low for him to pick up. So in the early going, Favre a little bit off target.
Yeah, and I think he knows it too. I mean, he kind of has that look on his face right now that this is me. He's had 2 phenomenal games coming into today. To go to Denver on Monday night and then 6 days later go to Kansas City and win in the fashion they did. I mean, it looked like Brett Favre from his MVP days.
That was a great achievement. To win against those 2 AFC teams, always tough to win no matter how those teams are playing.
Tough venues to play.
2nd down and 10, and on the delay, Ryan Grant again. And the Vikings can't stop Ryan Grant. Rushed for 104 yards against Denver in Week 8. Looks like he's wants to surpass it today. 15 yards and another 1st down.
Another pretty similar run. You know, just kind of a draw fake from the shotgun. But they're getting the line of scrimmage sealed up front by the offensive line. That time, Mark Tauscher and Jason Spitz sealed the line of scrimmage and gave Ryan Grant a good crease.
And the 3rd starting running back for the Packers looks to be a charm. And a 1st down midfield, and they're going to go again to Grant. Turning the corner, does it effectively as he goes out of bounds after picking up 5.
Well, this is the one component of the Packers team at 7-1 at the halfway mark that people felt that they were missing. Favre felt that they were missing. If they can develop a running game, and if Ryan Grant is the guy, they've got everything you need to finish this season strong the second half and get ready for the playoffs.
But they are pounding. Mike McCarthy's team pounding Minnesota in the run. 83 yards already for Green Bay, and we're still in the first quarter. That's on the ground, and they want more. The toss going to Grant, and this time it's E.J. Henderson who corrals him behind the line of scrimmage in a loss of about 2.
Well, in talking to the former Packer and now a Viking, Darren Sharper, he thought that the Packers would not be good in the second half of the season, that if you had to just solely rest on the arm of Brett Favre, this team was too one-dimensional in order to make a good run for the playoffs. But he's looking at a different Packer team right now, led by Ryan Grant here in the first quarter.
And they want to make a point. They want to say, look, we have a running game. We're going to show it. We're going to show it against the best team in the NFC against the run. They passed 10 out of 18 thus far, and they have a 3rd down and 7 in Viking territory. And Brett Favre sets up and drills it, knocked away from Greg Jennings. And a good defensive play in the backfield for the Minnesota Vikings by Dwight Smith, bringing up 4th down.
I think that ball was in Greg Jennings' hand, who's been the hero the last 2 weeks in some come-from-behind victories by the Packers. Or plenty of vision to throw this ball right there in the hands of Greg Jennings and then knocked loose at the end by Dwight Smith, but that ball should have been caught.
Weldy Moore back to return the punt from John Ryan. And it's in the end zone for the touchback. Minute 20 seconds remain in the first quarter. The Packers on their opening drive leading 7-0. Packers who are looking for their 4th straight victory with the lead over the Vikings, who have not won consecutive games this season, trying to build on their huge win over the Chargers last week, in which they established their best offensive performance in the last 51 games. They had 528 yards in total offense. Brooks Bollinger from the 20. And Adrian Peterson cutting upfield. Peterson gets hit, keeps going, and his best run of the day thus far gives him a 1st down up to the 32, gaining 11.
Little surprise to start this game here today. Ryan Grant averaging 10 yards a carry. Those are Adrian Peterson type numbers. Adrian Peterson, though, you can never count him out. I mean, last week, Dick, against San Diego, he ran for 13 carries in the first half for 43 yards. The second half, 17 carries for 253 yards. He can hit the home run on any time he touches.
So he didn't get worn down. That was
Not at all.
1st down from the 31, and here's Peterson again, and he's tackled by A.J. Hawk after picking up 3 yards.
Adrian Peterson does get stronger as the game goes on. His numbers bear it out. I mean, there it is. 5.8 yards in the first 10 carries. Is a little below that today. You get him to 11-20. When the defense starts to tire out, he's up to 6.6. And then when the defense can't wait to get on the plane and go home, he's hitting a 1st down every time he touches it.
Final seconds of the first quarter. 2nd down and 6. Vikings on the 35. Bollinger. And he's getting good protection. The pass is dropped by Peterson as time runs out. And that is the end of the first quarter here at the Lambeau Field in Green Bay. With the score, the Packers 7, the Vikings nothing. Fox NFL Sunday will continue after these messages. Green Bay, Dick Stockton along with Brian Baldinger. We begin the second quarter with the Vikings looking at a 3rd down and 6. Chester Taylor is alongside Bollinger out of the shotgun. Here comes the pressure on Bollinger in the pass. Off the mark, intended for the tight end, Santi Shanko. So both quarterbacks are off the mark thus far in the game. And the Packers have relied on the running game, and that has gotten them a touchdown. And so Charles Woodson will go back as the Vikings will kick it away.
Now the Vikings have played just shorthanded at quarterback most of the season. When the quarterback has to make a play on 3rd down, whether it's Holcomb or Jackson or now Bollinger, they've struggled, and that's why the team has struggled.
By the way, Tavares Jackson, who suffered a concussion last week, is the backup quarterback today. And Kluwe's punt, and a good one, sending Woodson back to the 9. Good hustle by Heath Farwell. Wouldn't let Woodson get away. 57-yard kick, and that will get the Packers inside the 10 when we come back.
Fox is sponsored by CareerBuilder.com. A better job awaits, and CareerBuilder.com has the most. By Shrek the Third, the biggest comedy of the year. It's the one to own on DVD November 13th, rated PG. By the new 2008 Focus. And by FedEx. Go air, go ground, go football.
Here's the scene in Green Bay. A lot of gold pom-poms by the fans. And a great Upper Midwest division rivalry. First down at the 10. The handoff is to Ryan Grant. And Grant picks up 3.
I'm just looking at this Green Bay offense, which had a nice opening drive for a touchdown, but just get the sense that the passing game isn't clicked yet. Almost like the point where Favre might just feel like just dropping back and heaving one to Jennings or to Driver and just try to put a quick one up on the board. He has that capability every time he drops back.
Well, he heaved one to Jennings to win the game against Kansas City last week. Second down and 7. He can do that at any time. Again, on the ground. And Ryan Grant picking up the first down. Run out of bounds by Cedric Griffin with the division lead at stake. Brandon Jackson, the rookie, back in motion to the right. The pass up the middle is caught by the tight end Donald Lee. Close to the first down. Nearly 10 yards on the play.
And Donald Lee's been a good story, Dick. A real good story. He got a contract extension this week. They've had a lot of injuries at tight end. Bubba Franks is out today. Brett loves to have a good tight end. Going back to his days of Keith Jackson and Mark Chimura. He was a guy that was picked up from the Miami Dolphins off the scrap heap a couple of years ago. Came in, got indoctrinated with the offense, and now has become a big part of it.
And the tight ends have proved troublesome for the Vikings this year. First down at the 31. And the receivers loaded off to the left side. Here comes the pressure. But Favre steps up. And Donald Lee again is tackled shy of the 40, this time by the linebacker Chad Greenway, picking up 9.
Big story today was the 2 guards of Green Bay, and how are they going to stack up against these monster defensive tackles of Minnesota? And here, just a 3-man rush. But this is a nice pocket for Brett Favre to step up into. No obstruction in view. He was able to step up, set his feet, and get the ball out.
Second down and 1. Lee already with 3 receptions. Changing the play and has time. Caught by Ryan Grant. And Grant will have a first down. So Ryan Grant, who by the way has 92 yards rushing already, picks up 3 as a receiver, and the Packers with a first down to the 43.
Because Brett's arm is so strong, he can still just back up with pressure in his face and still whip the ball and get it to where he has to get it, like he did to Ryan Grant that time, to keep this drive alive.
Already 106 total yards for Grant, and you see the Packers with their 10th first down. Clock getting rid of it, and it's caught by the rookie James Jones. And Jones close to another first down as he gets into Minnesota territory. Henderson and the rookie McCauley on the stop. First catch of the day for Jones.
But James Jones, the rookie, out of Fresno State, said he wasn't really fast enough, to play in this league, but he's a sure-handed guy, and he's strong. He's thick and he's strong, and you can see he's a hand catcher away from his body and able to know where the sticks are for the first down.
And Brian, his first NFL touchdown came against these Vikings on a 33-yard play in week 4. And the Packers moving again. First and 10 at the 47 of the Vikings. Play action all day for Favre, and he completes the pass to the fullback, Corey Hall, who was hit immediately by E.J. Henderson, limiting a 6-yard pickup. But the Packers able to run really sets things up in play action for Brett Favre here.
Well, you know, right now, Brett's getting his rhythm. This drive, the ball is coming out. It's getting in the hands of his playmakers right now. He's spreading it around. And you can see Minnesota's not sure if they should rush 4, come with the blitz. They're rushing 3. They're a little unsure about how to defend him right now.
But you're right, Favre is in rhythm here. 2nd down and 4. And the pitch going to Ryan Grant. Grant cutting inside. And a good play made by Dwight Smith, the free safety, and the gain is only 1. There you see the Packers have a huge edge in ball control right now, and running on the ground has been tremendous. They have gained 93 yards rushing.
And it's kept Adrian Peterson off the field, because we know and we have seen what he can do on any given moment. When he's not out there, it's a double whammy for the Packers.
He has not been a factor. There's the 3-man defensive front for the Vikings on 3rd down and 3.
All that jumping around got to Jason Spitz, the right guard.
Ball start, 86 offense. 5 yards, it's still 3rd down.
Jason Spitz had been the center of the last 3 games. Scott Wells returns today, and Spitz playing right guard. Darren College, who was beaten against Kansas City badly last week, retaining his position at left guard.
Yeah, but Darren College and Jason Spitz are conscientious guys. They want to be good. They want to work hard. And so, you know, you go backwards sometimes. You want to see how they respond. And so far today, they've played very well.
That was the first Packer penalty of the day. 3rd down and 8. And Favre, under pressure, fires, and the pass caught by Ruvell Martin. So using all of his weapons, Ruvell Martin makes the catch. A 25-yard gain, and the Packers have a 1st down at the 20.
Well, Ruvell Martin is all the way on the outside against Marcus McCauley. He finds the soft spot of the zone, and Ruvell Martin is sort of a change of pace receiver because he's 6'5". But watch Favre. Not many guys can pull that ball back like that without even putting the other hand on it, because his hands are so big and strong. Recoil and then whip it again.
Only the 7th catch of the year for Martin. And a 1st down at the 20, so the Packers threat. And there's a pass again to Ryan Grant, but this time Matt Williams is right on top of him, and no gain.
No pun intended being right on top of him. He was. Even Favre is laughing. Maybe we went to the well one too many times on that one. Matt Williams is one of those guys you want in your locker room. He's having a very good season. I was talking to him a couple weeks ago. He's from the state of Louisiana and actually has the tattoo of the state of Louisiana on that big neck of his. You need a big neck to get the big state tattoo on there.
It's like a big L.
It is.
State of Louisiana. Looks like an L. 2nd down and 10. And the pitch to Grant. Trying to turn the corner, and Henderson puts on a big hit and not getting out of bounds, so the clock continues to run. Maybe a loss on the play, and the Vikings look like they want to get a little more physical here and force the Packers into a field goal try with under 7 minutes to go in the 2nd.
Well, you know, they haven't allowed a 100-yard runner all year, and Ryan Grant is getting dangerously close to that here in the 1st half, so I'm sure that they've got to be pretty ticked off about how they performed defensively so far.
Vernon Morency is in the backfield now on 3rd and 11. Favre stepping up, and the pass through the hands of Donald Driver. Once again, Driver was in a good position. Pass is incomplete, so the field goal team comes in on 4th down.
Boy, Favre did a great job of pressing the line of scrimmage here. So the Vikings have been dropping defensive tackles out, and he had Driver open in the middle. Donald won't miss many of those catches. I mean, that's a great connection, Favre to Driver. Great guy, great Mississippi connection there.
Mason Crosby, the rookie, will attempt a 39-yard field goal. 6th round pick out of Colorado. And Crosby's kick is good, and the Packers, who are denied a touchdown, get points out of it, and they lead 10-0. 6:30 remaining in the 1st half. Packers looking for their 8th win in 9 games, leading 10-0 over the Vikings. Crosby with the 39-yard field goal, capping the 69-yard drive. Brett Favre, his only incompletion was the pass that went through Donald Driver's hands. Troy Williamson is back deep for the Vikings. Williamson from the 6. The Packers enveloping in a big way at the 20-yard line, and it was Frank Walker leading the way. And how pumped up are the Packers special teams? We'll be right back. How can you be bored if you're a Packer fan in Lambeau Field and your team is beating the Vikings 10-0? Well, they're not.
No, it's the only stadium where I can see opposing teams' fans mingle with Packer fans and have a love affair.
You don't often see opposing team fans, but because of the ticket arrangement, with Milwaukee being the predominant ones, you would see fans from Minnesota. And Bollinger on the rollout hitting Tony Richardson, his fullback. And Richardson gets about 6 yards on the play. Well, let's take we'll call it a time capsule here and take a look at, the Brett Favre in his rookie year. Soviet Union collapses. Yahoo and Google. If you would have said those words, they would have said, is this Halloween or what?
They would have said, what foreign language is that?
Bill Parcells retired for the first time, and Adrian Peterson was only 6 years old. Right now, Adrian Peterson wants to gain some yards. Getting a chance here, and a good run by Peterson. And he gets the first down. Adrian Peterson with 11 yards. Atari Bigby, the strong safety, brings him down. And he has averaged over 5 yards a clip, but hasn't really run that much.
No, I mean, they haven't been able to stay on the field. They haven't converted a third down yet to allow them to get into a rhythm. And that's what all running backs want and desire. Stay on the field, keep pounding the defense, and waiting for those creases to open up wide.
First down for the Vikings on the 35. And a false start call against Minnesota coming up here.
False start, 78 offense, 5 yards, and still first down.
That's the center, Matt Burke. And, of course, when you start to get a little momentum offensively and then you have a pre-snap penalty, that's like the air goes out of the balloon.
And Matt Burke just jerked that ball, had the count wrong, and jerked it, knew it, and then just left the ball there. But anytime anybody moves up there once you're set, they're going to throw the flag.
First down and 15. Play action. And Bollinger swinging out to Peterson. Peterson is tight with A.J. Hawk, who had his first interception of the year last week against Kansas City, stops Peterson after a 2-yard gain.
Well, it's a good linebacking core for the Packers. I mean, Nick Barnett leads this team in tackles, but A.J. Hawk, their first-round pick last year from Ohio State, I mean, he's a guy that never comes off the field. He plays on third downs. I think he's going to be a star in this league. He has that type of mentality. On a hot team right now, he's only going to get more and more recognition, but to bring Adrian Peterson down in the field there is a good play.
Williamson will go to the top. There is Peterson. Andre Allison, the rookie receiver, is in the game, and here is Peterson trying to turn the corner and can't. And it is Aaron Campbell with great pursuit for a guy that has a bundle of sacks and a loss of 2. The Packers are doing the number on Peterson thus far.
Well, it takes a team effort to stop Adrian Peterson. So watch Aaron Campbell. He takes the tackle, Ryan Cook. He strings him out. Now here comes Jarrett Bush up from the corner position. And you can see that is a team effort to take Adrian Peterson to the sidelines.
So Peterson now 9 carries, 45 yards, takes the breather as Chester Taylor comes in. Campbell says, who's the gentleman that I'm going against on the other side? He meant Ryan Cook. He called him a gentleman. And on the delay, Taylor looking for running room and will be stopped about 5 yards shy of the first down by Charles Woodson, the cornerback. A gain of 11, but not enough, and fourth down coming up for the Vikings.
Well, you said gentleman with Aaron Campbell. I mean, he's an unusual guy now. He took a 2-week pilgrimage through India with the Christian ministry this year. Said he stayed away from the deli belly and eaten any bad food, but he said that it only serves to create more balance in his life and appreciating for everything that he has and everything that he can do with his talent.
He even played cricket when he was young.
He did. That's the sport in India.
Chris Kluwe will be kicking, and Charles Woodson back deep with 3 minutes remaining in the second quarter. Kluwe, outstanding punting performance thus far. 5-yard line for Woodson, and Woodson is taken down by Heath Farwell. So under 3 minutes remain in the first half. The Packers in control of this first half, 10-0. And it's that kind of atmosphere every week that the Packers play at home. And the Packers with a first down at the 19. Both their scoring forays have been long distances. He started on the 18 when they got the touchdown, from the 10 when they got the field goal. They are on the 19 here, first down with 2:50 to go. Vikings haven't gotten to Brett Favre yet, and the pass to Vernon Morency. Morency brings it out to the 21 for a short gain.
Gordon on the tackle.
Vikings seem confused defensively. I've watched them drop one of their powerful defensive tackles on a number of occasions against Favre, who's now going with a no-huddle offense, calling the plays right at the line of scrimmage. And so they haven't blitzed him yet today.
Now they're back to the 4-man defensive front, the Vikings, second down and 7. And the pass is tipped and nearly caught by Rubel Martin, who ran one for 25 yards earlier.
Coming in today, the Vikings defense, second in the league in allowing only 70 yards a game in the rush, less than 3 yards a carry. No 100-yard rusher all year, although Ryan Grant is sort of destroying all of those numbers today.
92 yards rushing against Leslie Frazier's potent rush defense. Darren Sharper, the former Packer, always looking to pick one off. Third down and 7. This would be a big third down play for the Vikings in this first half to get the ball back, maybe in good field position. And this pass is caught by Driver. Driver will have a first down to the 41. It doesn't that always happen with Brett Favre, ad-libbing a play and a first down.
And it really takes place, Dick, because against the zone, he just waited for Driver to uncover and got it to him.
And the 2-minute warning here at Lambeau Field. We'll be right back. Completion to Donald Driver. Brett Favre going over the 60,000-yard mark in his career. Second player to reach it, Dan Marino the first.
And he caught Dan Marino in the total touchdowns the last time he played the Vikings. He went for number 421 on a throw to Greg Jennings.
First down at the 41. Packers have all 3 timeouts remaining. And Favre is going to fire it up there, and a flag is down. And it looked like there was going to be interference, as Marcus McCauley might have definitely bumped Rubel Martin. So they worked on the rookie McCauley the first time they played him.
Pass interference, 31 defense. Automatic first down.
Brad Childress was signaling that it was against the offense. Not the case.
Well, the rookie Marcus McCauley here working on Rubel Martin. See, he kind of cuts him off there, stops him from his path, and he lost track of Rubel Martin there.
16-yard penalty as a result. So Favre, who worked on McCauley to success back in week 4. And of course, McCauley in there because of the injury to Antoine Winfield, the best cornerback and the best run cover corner that the Vikings have. 16-yard penalty, first down. The 43 of the Vikings. Favre quickly getting rid of it. Morency very nearly knocked it into the hands of a defender.
And at the very end, knocked it away. Once he knew he didn't have control of it, wouldn't allow any of the Viking defenders to come up with it.
So heads-up play by Morency. And it was a quarterback or running back by committee for the Packers with Jackson, Morency, Grant. Right now, Grant owns it with 92 yards in this first half. Second down and 10. Favre is back in his own territory, and the pass, the risky pass that time to Driver. And Charles Gordon, upset with himself, thought he had a chance to pick one off.
Now, that time, the Vikings blitzed Brett Favre, and for one of the few times a day, Favre had to really throw that ball off his back foot. Left it a little short, so left him with a third down.
We got the impression, talking to Leslie Frazier, that the Vikings might do more blitzing than we've seen.
Yeah, very little so far. I mean, it might be by formation because the Packers, once again here, are spreading the Vikings out. And it's very difficult to blitz in this situation here because there's 5 guys out in the paddock.
And a 3-man rush. 3-man down lineman. And they rush 5, and Favre in trouble. He dumps it off to Corey Robinson. And Robinson is stopped short of the first down by a yard at the 34. And it was E.J. Henderson to put the pressure on big tackle here.
Well, E.J. Henderson came free. A breakdown in the pass protection. Henderson probably can't figure out how he didn't get to Favre and bring him down. But where Corey Robinson left this ball, they're going to be just a yard short of the first down. And in the first quarter, the Packers were faced with this situation, and they went for it on 4th down.
And Cedric Griffin with a good play and a timeout. Timeout. They have 2 left, and 4th down and a long run coming up here.
Yeah. And usually in a long run in this league, long 1 yard, that means closer to 2 yards than 1. It's a passing situation.
They line up with Driver to the bottom of your picture. 4th down play, and Favre gets it off. By Driver, and a first down. A 6-yard gain, and the clock continues to run.
Well, Driver is going to work on Dwight Smith, just a timing route. And I think Driver can beat Dwight Smith anytime he wants, one-on-one like he did.
First down at the 26. This one to Martin, his 3rd catch of the game, and he stops the clock with a 7-yard pickup with 1:03 remaining.
Every Thursday, the Packers run this 2-minute drill in practice, and it's Favre's favorite drill of the week. And right now, he's got this thing completely in control. Vikings try to pressure, he gets the ball out. They try to drop in coverage, he's finding the one-on-one matchup. They'd like to finish this drive, of course, with a touchdown, but Brett doesn't need to force anything here. They've got this game completely in control. They're in field goal territory right now. He doesn't need to take any unnecessary chances with the ball.
And their defense has done an exemplary job thus far, keeping the Vikings off the scoreboard and throttling Adrian Peterson. And another shovel pass, this one to Brandon Jackson, and he is tackled inside the 20-yard line by Ben Lieber, picking up 1 yard. How many times have you seen 3 shovel passes in 1 half?
I don't know if I've ever seen 3 in a game.
To Brett Jennings. Tell you, Brett Favre is a show unto himself with all of his antics, his trickery, and he gets 11 yards, and they threaten again inside the 10.
And that was strictly Favre to Jennings based on what the defense was doing. And they gave him the quick alley, and he just took it. He didn't even tell his offensive line that he was doing it. The ball got out of his hands so fast.
Under a half a minute remaining, and a flag down. And a false start penalty, 5 yards coming up against the Packers.
False start, 65 offense, 5 yards. By rule, inside of 1 minute, it's a 10-second runoff. But Green Bay has chosen to take a timeout. They're seconds.
So that's the rule. So instead of the 10-second runoff, they take a timeout. Mark Tosher is called for the penalty. Well, coming up on the Visa halftime report, Kurt, Terry, Howie, and Jimmy will have scores and highlights from around the league. And the Fox Sports ticker has up to the second scores and stats.
It's like division rivalry weekend in the NFL. Later today, got the Cowboys and the Giants. The Eagles are down in Washington right now. That game is going on. Of course, we have right here in front of us, Packers and Vikings. Browns and Steelers today in Pittsburgh. Some of the great rivalries in the NFL taking place today.
Well, the Packers in the position to add to their 10-0 lead. And it was Darren Sharper who said this game will decide where we're headed, and he's certainly right about that, coming in with a 3-5 record. And knowing that the Packers lead the division, Detroit playing at San Diego later at 6-2. crucial game for the Vikings.
Those are 5 true wide receivers on the field for the Packers right now.
First and goal at the 12, and there's Favre into the end zone. Incomplete. Corin Robinson, the intended receiver.
Corin Robinson, the former Viking and former Seattle Seahawk out there for the Packers.
Coming off last week, his first game in more than a year after a suspension violating the NFL substance abuse policy. Was in for 10 snaps and had 3 catches.
You get the sense that Brett Favre is pulling for him, trying to identify with his substance abuse problem, pulling for him, hoping and helping him out as much as he can.
12th play of the drive right here, 17 seconds remaining in the half. Then they spread him out, and Favre gets pressure, completes the pass to the 7 to Corin Robinson, and that was the best pressure that the Vikings had put on him all game.
Brett's going to run this clock down to about 3 seconds and call the timeout and walk Mason Crosby out on the field for the field goal attempt.
So Mason Crosby will come on, and this is a relative chip shot for him. Crosby already with a 39-yard field goal.
Wow, it's 2-1 right now in this first half, how Green Bay has dominated the action. And in that 10 minutes, they've kept the ball away from Adrian Peterson, who has run wild in a number of games this season.
Peterson today has carried only 9 times for 45 yards. His longest run from 12-yard game. This is a 24-yard attempt. And Crosby with the field goal as time runs out. So the second field goal of the game for rookie Mason Crosby. And the Green Bay Packers lead it 13-0, and that is the end of the first half. Fox NFL Sunday continues with a Visa halftime report after these messages. Historic Lambeau Field and Brett Favre, an historic quarterback. The Packers lead 13-0. They've been the team that has been able to run the ball. Adrian Peterson only 9 carries, Brian. The Vikings only 17 plays.
Yeah, you know, because the Packers have done a great job of playing keep away today. They've controlled this game, controlling the flow of this game. And then when the Vikings have had third downs, they're 0 for 4 right now. They can't stay on the field. So we haven't seen much of Adrian Peterson today.
Well, that's not good news for the Vikings because they really haven't had a passing game all season long. And so Peterson has to come alive, and the passing game, Bollinger is 3 for 6 for 7 yards. And the only completions he has made has been to his running backs. They are the halftime statistics.
Well, there's the time of possession, which says a lot about this game. But then the fact that the Vikings are 0 for 4 in third down, that's a big reason why they've been not on the field very much.
Corin Robinson will return the second half kickoff for Green Bay and bring it out to the 28-yard line.
I thought Corin Robinson had a critical play in the opening drive of the game. Caught the ball on third down and then reached it over for the first down and allowed Ryan Grant to go 30 yards in a scamper around right end for the game's only touchdown.
And Ryan Grant has rushed for 92 yards against a team that allowed only 70 yards per game, second to Tennessee in the NFL. So the Packers with a first down on the 28. Brett Favre off the mark early, got his rhythm, and he has used already 10 different receivers. On the 28, the pitch to Grant. Hit behind the line of scrimmage by E.J. Henderson, and a loss of 1 yard. Let's go down and get a report from Drew Smith.
Thanks a lot, guys. Coach Mike McCarthy says it's all about execution. On the running game, they're able to outman the guys, but he says they left some points on the field because the passing game is not where it needs to be. Brad Childress says the key is got to stay on the field on offense. 0 for 3 on third downs and getting on the field. 2 for 2 for the Packers on fourth down conversions.
Well,
back to you.
That's exactly what we've been saying, Drew. Thank you very much. And it was a good stop by the Vikings before the end of the half to limit the Packers to just 3. Second down and 10, and the handoff to Grant. Grant has some running room and brings it out to the 32-yard line.
Well, we didn't think that we would be featuring Ryan Grant as the key running back today, but he has been all of that for the second time in 3 weeks. A couple weeks ago at Denver, over 100 yards, closing in on 100 here, and every kind of run. He's turned a corner on the Vikings today. He's gotten them tough, short yardage runs. He's been good out of the backfield. It's been a great pickup for the Packers here this season.
Acquired on the trade from the New York Giants on the 1st of September. There's a 3-man defensive front on 3rd down and 5. Long count. Favre is back. Completes the pass to Greg Jennings. And Jennings gets the first down before he is pushed out of bounds by Marcus McCauley. 6-yard gain, and the Packers are now up to the 39.
It's interesting, we were talking to Greg Jennings on Friday, and he was a rookie last year from Western Michigan. He said his first impression of Brett Favre wasn't real good. He had met him at a rookie dinner, and Brett kind of gave him the veteran scowl, like, you know, rookies, you know, what do you guys know? And that has obviously changed here very quickly in 25 games that they played together.
First down, and again, they spread that defense, the way to go against the Vikings, the Packers field. And Favre stepping up, completes first down, Donald Driver. And Driver gets into Viking territory with a 13-yard gain.
And Brett has, once again, just really spread the ball around. The receivers are getting in on the action. Donald Lee has caught 3 passes. He's checked it down to his backs, numbered to Ryan Grant. And so they have been difficult to defend today.
First down at the 49 of Minnesota. This game controlled by the Packers on both sides of the ball. And the pitch going to Grant. And Ryan Grant goes out of bounds after picking up enough to give him over 100 yards in the game. First time against the Vikings.
Well, here it is. And a big reason is this formation here. Corey Hall over here, Kuhn over here with Ryan Grant. It's like the old wing T. And what that does, when you almost look like a wishbone there, it really forces the defense to balance up. You can't overload one way or the other because you've got a lead blocker either way. Right now, the Packers are the only team in the league that use that formation, and it's a good one.
7-yard gain over 100 for Ryan Grant. First player to get the century mark against the Vikings on the ground, and they go to him again, and not much there. Ryan Grant, by the way, played his college football at Notre Dame, and was with the Giants, signed to their practice squad in 2005, and spent all of the 05 season on the practice squad and the non-football injury reserve list the last year. So one of those unknowns, all of a sudden making a name for himself.
And that's what's so good about this league, because if you give a player an opportunity that is hungry, you never know what he can do with it. I mean, the Giants were loaded with running backs, Reuben Drones, and, you know, the Brandon Jacobs. They were loaded there, so they was expendable.
Third down and 2 on the 41 of the Vikings. And there is Favre going for Jennings. Catch is made by Jennings with 2 defenders on his back. What a play by Greg Jennings. And is he ever emerging? A 34-yard gain, beating Griffin and Sharper downfield.
Well, it is just a great timing for Jennings to jump, to get this ball away from Griffin. Get at the highest point, and then to withstand the hit that Sharper comes over and lays on. I mean, right now, Sharper's just KOs him right there, and the ball can't get out of his hands.
And the biggest play from scrimmage in this game, and it'll be first and goal for the Packers on the 7. Another shovel pass, Ryan Grant, and down to the 1. That's the 4th shovel pass that we have seen from Brett Favre in this game.
And the reason why they use that shovel pass is to slow down the rush of the Vikings. I mean, they're going to invite these guys upfield and then shovel it underneath them. One way to kind of slow it down, Pat Williams, a non-factor right there, can't get off the block. Seasons, 11 touchdowns on this season. 11 touchdowns and 25 attempts inside the 20-yard line for the Packers.
First and goal at the 1. And there is Favre firing it. Touchdown to lead. celebrating a contract extension and celebrating with the fans on his Lambeau leap with a touchdown, and the Packers lead it 19-0.
Well, it's excellent play-action fake here to Ryan Grant. Now, this used to be the play that Bubba Franks used to run all the time for the Packers, but with Bubba out, Donald Lee has stepped up and stepped in and really filled that void for this team.
200th career touchdown pass at Lambeau Field. Mason Crosby adds the extra point. Lee's second touchdown catch of the year. I tell you, this Minnesota defense has been on the field a long time, and the Packers have found an answer to everything they've thrown up. Donald Lee with the Lambeau leap after catching the 1-yard pass on the play action, and the Packers lead 20-0. Both touchdown drives went over 5 minutes. Here is the scoring drive. Favre was perfect. And the Packers are up 20-0. And the celebration, even though it's early in the third, no reason not to start now. Troy Williamson downs it in the end zone for a touchback. So there is Brett Favre feeling young again, and why not? Head coach Mike McCarthy with Brett Favre, a relative unknown 2 years ago, 1 win away from having the most victories of any Packer head coach after the first 25 games. Yes, including Vince Lombardi and Mike Sherman.
How about that look, though? How many head coaches are smiling in the third quarter of a game in this league? He has got this team playing very well.
Brooks Bollinger handing off to Adrian Peterson. Not much there. Well, Bollinger cannot be a game manager anymore with his team down 20-0, and they have to keep feeding Adrian Peterson, who gets 3 that time.
Well, we came in today talking about Adrian Peterson, rightfully so, but not many opportunities to carry it today. Meanwhile, Ryan Grant, little-known player that we have talked about. I don't remember him at Notre Dame, to be honest with you, Dick. Notre Dame's on TV every week. I don't remember any big games from him, but boy, the Packers sure are happy to have him now.
The Irish may not wish they were on TV.
That's true. 1-9. They're going up against Duke 1-9 this week.
That's your school.
That's two good programs.
Did they win that one?
Yeah.
Second down and 7. Peterson and Chester Taylor are in the backfield at the same time, and Bollinger will call a timeout. Well, the Vikings have to generate something offensively if they can. We'll be back. I don't know who's winning the bobblehead doll battle, but the Packers are winning the game on the field 20-0.
Those are grown men, right? Bobblehead dolls. That's what football does to you. It makes you feel like a kid.
Second down and 7 after the timeout. Here's Peterson. And he fumbles, loses it, scramble, and recovered by the Vikings. Atari Rigby, the strong safety, knocked it away. And
well, Brad Childress has an offense that has struggled all day today, and this pass distribution will show just how anemic the passing game has been. They haven't gotten a pass to a wide receiver or a tight end yet today. And if you can't do that in this league, unless Adrian Peterson is running for 300 yards, you're going to be right where they are with a goose egg for a scoreboard.
Remember Sidney Rice, who had a career high in this rookie year, 6 catches and a touchdown the first meeting, unable to play. Third down and 10, and Bollinger goes down. Kabir Bajabiamila, who passed Reggie White as the Packers' career sack leader, gets one here.
There's coverage down at the bottom from Charles Woodson. Pocket collapses, but here's the coverage here. I mean, maybe underneath you could have gotten that ball out of your hands, but there wasn't much opportunity.
Chris Cluey with the kick, and Charles Woodson with the 29 on the return, and slips at the 40, and a flag goes down upfield. Penalty marker down as Woodson brings it out to about the 41. Green Bay Packers looking very sharp, and after winning those 2 games on the road against Denver and Kansas City in 6 days, and no letdown today, as if they would against the Vikings.
During the return, illegal walk from behind. Number 38 of the receiving team. 10 yards, first down.
That's Tramon Williams. So they'll move the ball back to about the 30, take a timeout. Pleasant day for Green Bay and the weather. 7:23 remaining in the third. Nick Stockton and Brian Baldinger. Packers lead 20-0. Favre hit Donald Lee with a touchdown here in the third quarter. Ryan Grant with a 30-yard TD score. Favre, after a slow start, a prolific passing game today. Here's Ryan Grant. And Grant takes it out to the 35, picking up 4.
Packers have had some really good drives today. You can see the length of the field right there. Also, time-consuming drives. 12 plays for 82 yards, 13 plays for 69 yards. Been doing a good job of playing keep away and have scored on 4 of their 5 drives so far this afternoon. Very, very efficient.
Ryan Grant has gained 109 yards. Favre, 25 of 36 already. For 214 and a TD score. Second down and 6 in the pitch to Ryan Grant. And Grant is hit hard by E.J. Henderson. And picking up a 1 on the play, bringing up third down.
When you say, you know, he is hit hard, usually by a Minnesota Viking defensive player, the guy hitting him is E.J. Henderson. Leads this team in tackles and's found a home at middle linebacker. And having a very good season, although today not a lot of defense being played, but Henderson has been the stalwart in the middle there this season.
And this defense has been on the field
a long time.
Really, too long. 3rd and 5 for the Packers. Again, they spread them out. They put pressure on Favre, and his pass. Driver. He gets to the Viking 40-yard line, and kind of limping upfield is Brett Favre. He gets 24 yards here.
Well, Driver's working on Charles Gordon, who's the nickel back, and that is a design play to attack that coverage. Favre gets up. He's just kind of shaking it off, and we've seen him do so often right now.
The first down on the 40 of the Vikings. Driver with 4 catches for 63 yards. He and Donald Lee have been the big receivers today. Play action on the rollout. And Favre, watch out. There's going to be a penalty. Kenichi Udeza. And remember the discussion this week.
Personal foul, unnecessary roughness, number 95, a blow to the head, 15 yards, push down.
Helmet to helmet could result in an ejection if there is intent. But it was not helmet to helmet.
Not. I think he hit him with his leg. Yeah, just, well, I guess his hand came and hit Brett right in the helmet. The back of the helmet, grabbing the back of his head there. So one play he gets up gimping. Next play he rolls outside and gets hit in the head. And not many guys get knocked around the way he does and still keep getting up year after year, game after game.
And a huge edge in ball control.
It's the way quarterbacks are.
14 minutes for the Packers. Well, he wanted to keep playing. He's 38.
He said he's been hit harder this year than some of the hardest hits he's ever taken so far.
As a 24. And picks up a couple off of left tackle.
You know, all that retirement talk about Brett Favre a couple of years ago, even Mike McCarthy, when he got the job, went down to Hattiesburg to see Brett, and he thought he looked a little weathered, thought he looked a little beaten up, and didn't look like he had a lot of spring in his step. But we know when Brett made the decision to come back, he said that one of the things is when you retire, you don't have any more opportunities for days like today. And imagine if he had stepped down, what he could be missing right now with the resurgence of what Mike McCarthy and his young team is doing.
It may never would have happened that they'd be a contender like they are now, but he enjoyed playing. Now he's getting the best of everything. Broken play John Kuhn as Scott Wells and Favre got hooked up there.
This has not been a good series right here.
Is this what Brett Favre is all about?
This is it right here. He tripped over the fullback. But he's not touched, so okay, you know, that's what his dad would have taught him right there. As Kevin Williams has his head, you know, wrapped around his arm.
39-23.
A throw right from his belly.
Has there ever been a more entertaining Greek quarterback in football? Third down and 9. Easily in field goal range for Mason Crosby. But Favre on the screen pass. And Jackson and the rookie back gets a first down and gets to about the 10-yard line. So a 13-yard play off the screen pass, and the Packers threaten for the touchdown again.
Well, you're going to see Jackson just on a swing route out here. And he gets a couple linemen out in front of him. Jason Spitz gets out there. Donald Lee is out there right now. Get some good lead blockers. And Jackson, who was the second-round pick from Nebraska this year, thought that he might have a chance to nail down this starting running back position, but he was banged up this year.
He started the first 3 games of the season and then had a shin injury. So here is Favre with Ryan Grant back in the backfield. First and goal from the 10. Direct snap to Ryan Grant. And he gets to the 7-yard line. So you name the trick, the Packers have shown it today.
A lot of it right on his drive. Watch Brett Favre with the play-action fake. Whoop. Direct snap to Ryan Grant. Favre with a little Broadway acting right there. Trying to get the Vikings on a quick one. We've seen the shovel pass a number of times today. The fake for Favre, direct snap.
Now they put Donald Lee split wide to the right, empty backfield. On second down and goal. Favre, a lot of time, and Newland in the second. And Cedric Griffin got in good position in front of the receiver, James Jones. Big chance for the Vikings there to stop this particular threat.
That was just Brett Favre, you know, counting on his arm to get the ball over the head of Griffin. It was a long throw to the wide side of the field, and it kind of hung up there a little bit. Brett looks like he's looking right into a midday sun. Might have been blinded just a little bit by it.
10th play of the drive coming up. We have not had a turnover today, nor we've had a sack of the quarterbacks.
The line has played great for Favre this afternoon.
No problem with the guards. Third down and goal. And there is Favre with a pump. Touchdown to Lambeau. So you look at Jennings and Driver and the rookie Jones and the veteran Corn Robinson, and Ravel Martin plays a big role. An 8-yard touchdown catch, and the Packers pile it on.
Well, the first touchdown catch of the season for Ravel Martin. Going to run a slant right in here. Gets behind Dwight Smith, and boy, Favre had a lot of time for that to develop and open up.
So it's been all Green Bay, and Mason Crosby with the extra point, and the Packers lead 27-0 as they are really scoring heavily on the Minnesota Vikings. Well, the Green Bay Packers, who have won many close games this year and have come from behind several times, they said, well, we found a way to win. Well, they found a way to win early today, and they have totally dominated the Vikings, leading 27-0. Crosby will kick off to Troy Williamson. And the Vikings have been outplayed at every turn. Williamson, including special teams, as Williamson is stopped at the 27-yard line. There is the scoring drive, 10 plays, 69 yards. There's been a 12-play drive, 10, a 13, two 13-play drives, and a 9 for the points for Green Bay.
Yeah, you know, and the offense has been efficient, and Brett has been great, and they've gotten the job done. But on the other side, you know, when Mike McCarthy got the job, one of the things he did was he kept Bob Sanders as his defensive coordinator, a disciple of Jim Bates, who put this defense in place and has had great continuity as a result.
Vikings have only 3 first downs today. 2:17 to go, and this pass to Bobby Wade, and it's a catch.
That is the first catch.
And a pass interference. It looks like an offensive pass interference call against the Vikings.
I almost spoke too soon about getting the ball to a wide receiver.
We have 2 fouls on the play. Pass interference. Number 19 of the offense. Personal foul. Roughing the passer. Number 99 of the defense. Penalties offset. Repeat first down.
Well, Corey Williams got a...
Bobby Wade on the outside here. Pushes off on Charles Woodson. Enough to get that catch. And then Corey Williams here. Really just a little too rough throwing Brooks Bollinger down to the ground, I guess.
Packers got away with one there. First down at the 28. Bollinger going up top. And it's caught. And it's Robert Ferguson, the former Packer, with the longest play from scrimmage today, 35 yards for Minnesota.
Working on Al Harris. Al Harris just he ran right by Al. Got just enough of separation. Not many opportunities to get the ball to a wide receiver. The first catch by a wide receiver today, and just happens to be a longtime former Green Bay Packer with the catch.
6 years with the Pack. And the first down at the 37 of Green Bay. Bollinger has time, again going deep. And this pass knocked away. Bobby Wade defended downfield by Atari Bigby, and helped along the way as well by Jared Bush. So you want to know why Green Bay is up 27-0. There's the total yard story. And
it's a dominant performance.
And outrushed 114 to 60. That's really the surprise.
You know, and Brad Schroeder said that he likes to think of them, the Vikings, as an old-fashioned football team. They can run the ball, stop the run. Today, they've gotten an old-fashioned butt kicking by the Packers.
Second down and 10. 141 remaining in the third. Bollinger's pass. A screen to Peterson. And Adrian Peterson gets the first down to Pierce to the 26 and shaken up. Gain of 11. And this is tough. He has avoided injury this year after having injury problems at Oklahoma, and that was always a question. We're going to take a timeout. We'll come back with more, but here is the end of that play. This is a worst-case scenario, beginning about the 27-0 score as Adrian Peterson shaken up and hurt on the play, and now just getting up.
That's just how good he's been this year. If he averages 96 yards a game, he'll break Eric Dickerson's rookie rushing record. To get to 2,000 yards, he needs 120 yards a game, and to break the single-season record of Eric Dickerson, he would need over 130 yards a game.
Let's see how that play ended.
See, Al Harris comes from the side, 31, goes low on him. Clean hit. Nothing dirty about the hit. Looked like he went right for it through his thigh to flip him. And hopefully that's all it is. Maybe just a thigh bruise.
Chester Taylor, who has been the starter most of the year, replaces Adrian Peterson. First down. Throwing into the crowd. The pass is incomplete. Intended for Andre Allison, with Aaron Rouse defending on the play. Rouse, of course, making his first NFL start at free safety for the Packers, replacing the injured Nick Collins, and they're going to take him off on the cart. Peterson, that is. And it looked like the right leg is where the problem is.
They're doing tests right now on the right knee, just checking the stability of it with that last test.
Second down and 10 on the Green Bay 26. Bollinger's pass knocked away, and it was Barnett. Hitting in front of the receiver, Chester Taylor.
Good linebacking core all the way around. A.J. Hogg, Barnett leads the team in tackles. Brady Papinga, good group. I think Barnett probably thinks, just looking at the hole in his hands, that maybe he should have caught that one.
Well, the Packer defense has done a great job in that department. They have shut out Minnesota. They've shut them out on the scoreboard. Third down and 10. Nearly a minute remaining in the third quarter. Bollinger chased. Campman after him. And the pass is incomplete, out of bounds. They try to get her to Allison. So Aaron Campman putting the pressure on Brooks Bollinger. And fourth down coming up.
Yeah, you got to just keep the offense on the field. Aaron Campman with a good chase. Guy that is meticulous in his study and preparation for every week. Chased Bollinger right to the sideline there, forcing him to throw wide on that throw.
And when you're down 27-0 and you have a fourth down and 10, you have no choice.
Packer fans are very civil, aren't they? They could be giving it to the Viking fans in the stands, and they're not.
Fourth down and 10. And Bollinger with a crossing pattern to Robert Ferguson, and he'll be stopped way short, about 10 or 12 yards shy of the first down yardage he needed to go. And so the Packers will take over on downs as A.J. Hawk, with help from the backup cornerback Jared Bush, make the play, and Green Bay will take over first down. In the division, yes, we flew fans in for the promo, and Ryan Grant knocked back for the loss on first down. So that's coming up next on Fox. The Giants and the Cowboys.
You know, the Giants haven't lost since they got taken apart by the Packers in the second week of the season, 35-13. They're on a 6-game win streak and the hottest team in the NFC since that. It's the right knee of Adrian Peterson. We pray that he's going to come back strong.
He had 45 yards on 11 carries. The longest run from scrimmage was 12 yards. Second down and 13. And Brett Favre's pass is caught by Jennings. And Jennings knocked back about a yard and a half shy of the first down after picking up 12. And that will do it. That's the end of the third quarter with the score. The Packers 27 and the Vikings nothing. And Fox NFL Sunday will continue after a word from your local Fox station. We begin the fourth quarter here at Lambeau Field. The sun has been out most of the day. Dick Stockton and Brian Baldinger. It's 27-0. The Packers lead, and a lot of concern for Adrian Peterson, who was helped off the field and placed on a cart after suffering a knee injury. Third down and 1. Ryan Grant going outside and will not get a good pursuit by number 23, Cedric Griffin.
Good sign here. Adrian Peterson putting the sleeve back on his knee, and this is the play in question here. Al Harris, 31 there on your screen, goes low on Adrian Peterson. Clean hit, went right through his thigh. Didn't look like anything stuck in the ground, or didn't look like his knee was hyperextended on the play, but obviously something is wrong. We'll see if he has any kind of a return today.
Noeldi Moore is back deep for the punt. Moore had a 42-yard punt return last week, and this one goes into the end zone, touchback, and the Vikings will take it out of the 20, and there is Adrian Peterson loosening up.
Game on Fox is sponsored by Energizer E-Squared Lithium. Keep going. By Taco Bell. Think outside the bun. By the all-new 2008 Toyota Highlander Sport. Everything counts. And by State Farm, proud sponsor of the NFL.
27-0, the Packers lead, and a few plays before the last punt, Mark Tauscher was shaken up by Green Bay, and Darren College moved from left guard to right tackle, and Alan Barber, the rookie, checked in at left guard. Meanwhile, the Vikings with Chester Taylor at running back. Peterson has not come back yet with a first down at the 20. Bollinger, with a lot of time, completes it to Taylor out of the backfield, and he gets 9 yards with a penalty flag down.
Personal foul, roughing the passer. Number 90 of the defense. 15 yards from the end of the play. First down.
It's Colin Cole roughing the passer, first down.
Cole's working on Anthony Herrera, the right guard, walked him right back. Can't take the quarterback down much easier than that. We saw Brooks Bollinger come into the meeting yesterday. It looks like he had a Brooks Brothers suit on. I didn't know if he worked for the PR staff or if he was the quarterback. He said, look at me, I've got to get the ball out with anticipation. There's not a lot to me.
First down, and Bollinger fires and completes it for another first down. Bobby Wade. And Wade with a 15-yard pickup, so it looks like the Vikings able to extend their offense a little bit. Today, 5 punts and 1 failed fourth down conversion on their 6 possessions. Bollinger has completed 8 of 15 for 76 yards. And the ball at the Viking 41. And Bollinger going deep. Knocked away, intended for Andre Allison, the rookie from East Carolina, but well covered downfield.
The strength of this Green Bay team is the play of their cornerbacks. Al Harris, Charles Woodson, right there in your picture, Jarrett Bush. Al Harris has been here now in Green Bay for a number of years, and he is the ultimate pro. His preparation, game to game, play to play, loves to challenge receivers. In fact, I asked him the other day if there's such a thing as a shutdown corner. I don't think that there is after Deion Sanders. He tracked me down in the lunchroom and said there is such a thing as a shutdown corner, and I'm one of them.
Inside handoff, Chester Taylor, running room, breaks a couple, and Taylor finally goes out of bounds, and they're going to mark it at the 18-yard line. So Chester Taylor with a run of 23.
Well, so much attention has been given to Adrian Peterson, but Chester Taylor's a quality back. I mean, last year for a Viking team that struggled without good quarterback play, he had over 1,200 yards rushing when he got this opportunity.
You know, Al Harris is a shutdown football analyst. That's what he proved to be the other day. Peterson's still on the sidelines. That's what he's done thus far. And 45 yards right now, the lowest yardage he's had this year. And there's Bollinger looking one way, completing to Basante Shanko, the tight end. And gets about 8 yards.
Should they lose to Washington?
Second down and 3. Vikings on the Packer 11-yard line. This is their deepest penetration. And there's Bollinger going underneath. That's the first down. And Andre Allison, forward progress. He'll get the first down. First and goal at about the 9 after the 4-yard pickup.
Well, Al, they're just running a bunch formation here. Andre Allison just running a little hour route, runs inside to the middle linebacker Barnett and bounces outside. But this is a disappointing performance by Minnesota today. They had just come off their best win under Brad Childress at home against San Diego last week, and were hoping to follow it up. And they've been taken apart from the opening drive.
528 yards against the Chargers. And there's Bollinger with the rollout, and it's intercepted off the hands of a Viking receiver, and it is picked off by Charles Woodson. Charles Woodson on the deflection off of Noeldy Moore on the rollout, and the first turnover of the game, and the Packers keep the shutout going. They're up 27-0 early here in the fourth.
From Charles Woodson, maybe a premature Christmas gift to a youngster in the stands. That will make that kid's year. And I tell you, Charles Woodson in his 10th year has never played better football than when he has come to Green Bay in these last 2 seasons.
Maybe in 30 years he'll still remember that.
Yeah. That kind of a moment.
First down from the 4 after the interception. Take the handoff, complete the pass to Corin Robinson, and quickly a first down for the Packers at the 20, picking up 16.
Hey, Dick, he just hummed that ball. And that ball came out lightning hot. I mean, you know, they always say running backs get better and stronger as the game goes on. I think Brett's arm gets stronger as the game goes on because he whipped that one.
He's having a blast. That interception by Charles Woodson was his 3rd of the year and his 2nd in as many weeks. Last week returned it 46 yards for a touchdown against Kansas City. First down for the Packers. They're up 27-0. Trying to make it 4 in a row in the year, 4 straight against the Vikings. And the handoff to Ryan Grant. And Grant started it all. And Grant with 108 yards now, and Drew Smith with a report.
All right, thanks a lot, Mark Tauscher, right tackle. Left ankle actually hurt it on the drive where Ruvel Martin caught a touchdown, gutted it out for a couple more drives, taped it up. He's probably done for the day. As for Adrian Peterson, they put the sleeve on the knee. They were checking the inside part of the knee, ran up and down the sideline, got a pat on the head. We probably will not see him again today.
All right, Drew, thank you very much. And there is AD all day and going to spend the latter part of this day nursing that scary knee injury. 2nd down and 7. Nearly 5 minutes going by in the fourth. A quick out to Colin Robinson. 1st down. And out of bounds to the 31.
Well, NFC East showdown at the Meadowlands. Cowboys visiting the Giants, and should the Giants win, the Packers today, should this 27-0 lead hold up here in the final 9 minutes, would be sitting atop the NFC at 8-1 and looking really impressive in getting it.
1st down from the 33, and the handoff to Ryan Grant. And Grant getting to the 35. Big day for Ryan Grant, the first running back to gain over 100 yards in a game against the Vikings. He has 114 yards and 24 carries, and flexing that right leg.
You know, I know the Giants in the locker room back at the Meadowlands were watching a lot of this game, and I'm sure guys like Brandon Jacobs and Derek Ward, running backs, they were really, applauding this kid. He went through training camp with the Giants up in upstate New York there, and to watch him play like this, they got to be thinking, wow,
one of our own.
Yeah.
2nd down and 7. Again, they go to Grant. And Grant crosses the 40. E.J. Henderson on the play. And the Green Bay Packers doing what no team has been able to do against the Minnesota Vikings. Remember, they came in 3-5 on the year, but the staple of this team has been the running game led by Adrian Peterson, who's been shaken up. He's gained 45 yards, and their rushing defense. But the Packers have run for 120 yards today.
Well, to a Packer fan and to the team right now, they're saying we can run the ball. We do have balance. The guards played very good inside today. The running back ran well. We don't have to rely solely on the arm of Brett Favre.
And it really expands with the play action. Easy what Brett can do. 3rd down and 2. Short drop. Looking right. Going the other way. It's James Jones. And this is by Cedric Griffin. Inside the 25 and close to the 20 of the Vikings. A 37-yard play to the rookie from San Jose State.
And does Brett Favre know this offense? I mean, James Jones is on the backside of this route. Favre had looked right, but knew instinctively that Jones was running a go route on the outside and came back to it.
So for Favre, it's his 6th 300-yard game of the year, and all in the last 7 games. So he's getting better as the Packers seemingly get better as the season goes on. 1st down at the 22 of the Vikings. Hand off to Brandon Jackson. And a loose ball, and recovered by Green Bay.
Let's go back. Let's go back to the play before where Brett Favre, look at him. He takes this snap from Wells, and he's going to look right. He wants to throw the ball to his right. Calling the signals here, making the change of the play. Getting the routes out to his receivers. Looks right. Boy, this comes back without barely even identifying receivers. Knows where they're at all times. And able to come back and locate him and then get it to him.
2nd and 4, and the pitch to Brandon Jackson. And Jackson is knocked back. Loss of a yard on the play thanks to E.J. Henderson, and he's been a big man all day for the beleaguered Vikings, but Mike McCarthy's Packers, and in his 2nd year, McCarthy has pressed all the right buttons, and they believe this guy.
Well, I mean, this is an incredible statistic because this is Mike McCarthy's 25th game. And should he win today, in his first 25 games, he'll have more wins than Sherman, Homewood, Lombardi, and Lambeau. Pretty darn good company right there to be in.
Just saying Lombardi would be a mouthful. Ninth play of the drive. And Favre deciding where to go. It's off the hands of Green Bay into Lambeau for the score. So the Vikings had an interception in their hands, and that didn't stick. As Lambeau Martin, second touchdown catch of the game.
Second Lambeau leap for two. And it's all going right. It wasn't the best throw that Brett Favre has made all day. Darren Sharper back there. Cedric Griffin and Darren Sharper run into each other, knock each other off. The ball goes through their hands and into Lambeau Martin.
17-yard touchdown pass, and Mason Crosby adds the 34th point in a rout here in Green Bay, as the Packers showing why they're heading for 8-1, 34-0. And Brett Favre being hoisted up by Donald Driver, and the touchdown pass, second of the game, to Lambeau Martin, the second-year receiver from Saginaw Valley State. Cap a 9-play, 96-yard drive, and a 17-yard strike, and it's 34-0. Andre Allison on the return, crosses the 30, and a pretty good return by Allison. Penalty flag is down at the 43. And Allison is out of bounds at about the 36. How about the length of the scoring drives for the Packers today?
During return, holding, number 25, 10 yards, first down.
So Tank Williams will erase 10 yards off of that. The injured Mark Tauscher on a 34-0 game. Mr. Martin. It tells it pays to keep a job, and Brett Favre has had it 17 years. So the Packers have had one quarterback. Bears 21 since Favre's first start. These are starters. Lions 15, and the Vikings with their 14th today in that name, Brooks Bollinger, former Wisconsin signal caller, took his team to the Rose Bowl, and the pass on the crossing pattern to Robert Ferguson gets away from the defender and gets a first down. Pretty nifty play for Ferguson.
Aaron Rodgers was supposed to be the heir apparent. First-round pick out of Cal a few years back. Hasn't had much of a chance. I'm not so sure, looking at that last graphic, that any of those other teams in the division, Chicago, Detroit, and Minnesota, have straightened out their quarterback situation for the future. In any regard, maybe John Kitna has a chance this year to get them to the postseason. But he's not the long-term answer.
First down at the 42. And Bollinger got a lot of pressure that time. And that brings up second down. Aaron Campton was all over him. Last time the Vikings were shut out,
wow,
1991 against the New Orleans Saints, 26-0. And right now, the Vikings have given no indication that they're going to score in this game. They did threaten before, and an opportune chance to throw it to Mewelde Moore off his hands, and the interception by Woodson.
Well, these corners, I mean, you look at Al Harris, you can't get any closer to a receiver in this league than that right there. Not letting him breathe.
And off to Chester Taylor, former Raven, getting it out to the 45-yard line. And
they've got players and stars, rising stars on this Green Bay defense.
Youngest team and really in the league.
One of the youngest in the league. Nick Barnett has been right in the borderline Pro Bowl player at middle linebacker for a number of years. A.J. Hawk next to him right now.
Bollinger completes to Ferguson. The former Packer is put down at the 49-yard line. About 2.5 yards shy of the first down. So the Green Bay Packers heading for 8-1, and it remains to be seen whether the Cowboys do the same. And their game coming up on Fox, that big collision with the Giants in the NFC East. Lions are at San Diego later at 6-2. Pass up the middle, and Ferguson again gets into Packer territory, but still shy of the first down, and they'll place it down short of the first down. So under 4 minutes remain, and while we have a moment, we want to thank our crew as the Packers take over on downs. Today's game being produced by Bob Stenner and directed by Sandy Grossman. The associate director is Charles McDonald as Mark Tauscher leads to a hand. The broadcast associate is Mark Schaefer. Technical producer is Bob Mueller. Technical director Rick Tugman. The tape supervisor is Michael Nathanson. The audio supervisor is Pat Lucatordo. The pregame show is produced by Scott Ackerson and directed by Bob Levy. The studio technical supervisor, Jack Simmons. The senior producer is Bill Brown. And the executive producers of Fox Sports are Ed Gorin and David Hill. Thanks to our spotter, Chris Visser, our statistician, Rick Odioso, and Mike Eldridge and Fitz Allison doing the job downstairs. Aaron Rodgers will take the snap and completes it to James Jones, and Jones going down the sideline. So with Rodgers in there taking a snap for the first time this year, the beat goes on and Jones comes up hobbling.
He grabbed the back of his calf. And a good, tell you, when I saw the Green Bay Packers in training camp this year, Dick, I was up here the first week of training camp, and I mean, there was nothing but just young guys at receiver like James Jones and Greg Jennings, and young running backs and guys like Brandon Jackson, and I thought, wow, you have Brett Favre, you got a good offensive line, but so much youth at key positions, and these guys have stepped up and have really developed, and that's a credit to McCarthy's coaching staff.
This is an authentic team, and I think that's been established as Brandon Jackson is hit behind the line of scrimmage. And while Aaron Rodgers is coming for Brett Favre, Sid Drexler has come in for Bob Mueller this week as our technical producer, so our thanks to him. And going to give Brett Favre the 100th win. Quarterbacks with the most home victories in the regular season and the playoffs. Brett Favre with number 100. And John Elway leading the pack at 104.
He's just knocking all the records down. Breaking Dan Marino's touchdown record this year, going over 60,000 yards today. Second only to Dan Marino. 100 career victories at Lambeau.
Brandon Jackson, and thrown for a loss back at the 40-yard line. Aaron Rodgers, who last played against the Patriots last November, and taking over for Brett Favre, and a great day for Brett Favre with 3 touchdown passes, 2 of them to Ravel Martin. But let's not forget Ryan Grant, rushing for 119 yards. He too getting a breather. And Grant, the first running back to gain over 100 against the Vikings this year, really set the tone early before Favre was able to get his arm going.
Wasn't supposed to be able to do that against this defense. They went right at him and had early success, and did set the tone.
Swing pass to Morency. And Morency is tackled as we get close to the 2-minute warning.
It's just child's play out there right now. he got Frank Walker, didn't he?
2-minute warning. 38-year-old guy trying to mix it with the young 20s and doing a great job of it. Big day for the Pack, and good reason to commiserate on the sidelines. John Ryan punting on 4th down with under 2 minutes remaining in the game, and the ball goes into the end zone, touchback. And the Vikings will take it out at the 20-yard line. The Packers got all the points they needed on the first possession of the game. Ryan Grant with a 30-yard touchdown run, ran for 119. And there's the big story, the rushing yards. The Vikings unable to run. Peterson with only 45 yards before he got injured in the 3rd quarter. Packers with 121 yards, and you know what Brett Favre could do. And the story of the route, including a great defensive effort, and the Vikings unable to mount any kind of an offense today. Penalty flag now. Gerald Austin.
There's no holding on the play. The ball had rolled into the end zone when the player was taken to the ground. First down.
The Vikings will play home against the Oakland Raiders next week, while the Packers will be here in Lambeau Field against the Carolina Panthers, who are losing to Atlanta right now. And then 2 road games at Detroit and Dallas will be tough challenges for them. Yes.
Detroit and Thanksgiving. Good game. This has been a flawless, almost flawless performance by Green Bay. To do it against a division rival coming off a great win against San Diego is even more impressive.
Bollinger flips it out. Taylor still on his feet, and a great block of Woodson, and Taylor inside the 40-yard line, and finally caught up with around the 30-yard line by Kabir Bajabiamila, the big lineman going all the way downfield, but a 49-yard gain for the Vikings. And Cullen Jenkins upfield shaken up, and a timeout.
Cullen Jenkins has been a huge part of this turnaround in Green Bay. I mean, they have won 12 of their last 13 games going back to last season, and you can point to when they put Cullen Jenkins at right end last year as a starter, and then putting him inside when KGB goes out there in passing downs. It's a big part of this turnaround.
1:25 remaining, and of course, some of these injuries occur when the game has long been decided in the final minutes.
Cullen Jenkins' brother, Chris Jenkins, will be coming to Lambeau Field next week. He starts for the Carolina Panthers at defensive tackle.
And walking off, limping slightly on his own power. Hey, this is an unusual Viking-Packer game. The last 10 regular season games, the total margin of victory has been 39 points total. And today, a 34-point edge for the Packers. So, unlike past division games, puts Bollinger all the way into quarterback for the Vikings. First down. And down he goes. And that is the first sack of the game. And it's Johnny Jolly in his second year. Make it 2 for the Packers. And the clock stops with 1:14 on the clock. So the Packers going to 8-1, and the Lions playing the Chargers on the road later. The Bears at 3-5, and they will play against the Oakland Raiders later. And the Vikings dropping to 3-6. Look at that record here at Lambeau under Brett Favre, and they continue it with the veteran 4-1 this year.
They got the home field back, and the one loss was this year to the Bears late in that game. The only blemish in the last 12 games, 13 games.
Vikings calling the timeout. Packers scoring 33 last week at Kansas City and topping that today. Good news for that offense. And here is Bollinger completing 2 games, pushed out of bounds by Woodson. And this is a team that also scored 30 or more back-to-back in week 2 against the Giants and in week 3 against San Diego. And if this defense continues to improve the way they're improving, well, that's the complete game and complete team that you have here.
Well, and the special teams, Mason Crosby has been outstanding as a young field goal kicker here. Mike McCarthy went out of his way to mention just how quickly he gets the ball up in the air. And they know how to finish them. They've done a good job finishing opponents, making the comebacks when they had to on the road the last 2 weeks.
3rd down and 3. Nearing a minute remaining, and down goes Bollinger, and Kabir Bajabiamila with the sack.
Well, this defense wants to preserve the shutout. Here's KGB up at the top, working one-on-one against Bryant McKinney. Got a good jump on him. Beat him just right out of his stance.
And a timeout called by the Vikings. That is the 3rd sack of the game, and the Vikings using their final timeout.
Boy, opening drive, Corn Robinson really high-level awareness to get that first down. Ryan Grant, the 30-yard touchdown run. Donald Lee with an early touchdown. Ravel Martin with a couple of touchdown catches. One when things just seemingly went all Packer way. A couple of Lambeau leaps from Ravel Martin as well. And all smiles for the quarterback.
You know, it's interesting in the NFC when you've got the Cowboys and the Packers clearly the best. And you got the Lions and the Giants who will play next week at 6-2, but they're not division leaders. So you've got scrambles with teams like Tampa Bay, a game over 500, Seattle at 500. The West, really has no outstanding teams. This pass underneath, caught by Robert Ferguson and stopped on 4th down, and the Packers will take over on downs. Carolina here next week for the Packers, and then, as we mentioned, Thanksgiving Day on Fox at Detroit, and then a week later against the Cowboys on the road. And so it goes. But it'll be interesting to see what happens in the NFC South and in the NFC West as the Vikings, now 3-6. Look at those games.
Well, for the Packers, they'll play Carolina and at Detroit, 2 games in a 4-day stretch, and then have 10 days to get ready for the Cowboys. And what a showdown that might be.
So it'll be interesting to see what happens in those other divisions where they don't have the dominant teams like in the NFC East and in the North.
There's a hero today and a rising star in Ryan Grant. Goes from the New York Giants that are on a 6-game win streak to the first place Green Bay Packers and the starting running back.
And that'll do it. Final seconds and a big win for the Packers, who go to 8-1. And we're going to have bonus coverage coming up for you after we send it out to Kurt Menefee as the final seconds tick off. Adrian Peterson, injuring his knee late in the 3rd quarter, gets 45 yards on 11 carries. And the Packers go to 8-1. The Vikings 3-6. And that is the story for Brian Baldinger. Dick Stockton saying so long from Lambeau Field. The Washington-Philadelphia game going to the wire. We'll have that for you. But first, let's send it out to Kurt Menefee in Los Angeles.